Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de airlines, or specifically my experience with Alaska Airlines this past week. Yeah, and spoiler alert, wow, I haven't felt this incensed about anything for a while now. So things that really disturbed my zen. Oh boy. Oh, Zempuck here. Okay, I'll admit it. My life is, generally speaking, pretty darn easy these days, right? And yet today I have to indulge the dark side of my brain, and of course it has to do with everyone's favorite industry, airlines. I guess my anecdote is really about one airline, Alaska. But to be frank, I think every complaint I have here is probably also relevant, despite the actual name of the airline itself. Okay. Anyway, first I gotta give some context. I think about a week ago, Sunday evening, Alaska Airlines had to ground all their flights due to, an IT issue? I have no idea what the actual issue is, but the result remains the same, okay? All their flights were on hold for at least 3 hours around nighttime, evening time. And of course, I had a flight that was supposed to take off the next morning at around 9 a.m. with wifey. We took a bit of a long weekend. Yay, we love traveling, that is, until this return flight situation was going to happen. Okay, so come 9 a.m. Monday morning, the night before we went to sleep, hoping for the best that a major American airline will be able to work out the logistical issues after almost a whole working day worth of time. And of course, we were wrong. We woke up for that morning, for that 9 a.m. flight at around 5:30 to check the status of our flight, and of course, it was just silently canceled, as I found out on the app and nowhere else. No text, no email, no notifications, just on the app itself. Yada, yada, yada. A whole entire almost 20 hours later, we did manage to rebook and get back home. But now that the worst is over, I am gonna go off on Alaska Airlines on this issue. I don't fly with them often, and after this experience, honestly, I'm not looking forward to ever working with them again. And this is coming from somebody who used to work in operations and have plenty of sympathy towards what I'd imagine is, a bit of a logistical clusterfuck in an industry that's not well known for its efficiency, right? I kept thinking, good God, I could do a much better job for these people. Of course, frankly, I won't, because I don't care about these companies, but instead, we're gonna do it the American way, the old-fashioned way, and complain, okay? I will limit my rant to some advice for this airline, or really any airline, right? To manage properly customer expectations, and frankly, none of these things I think are hard to do. So I'm surprised that Alaska didn't do any of them, okay? So now, if you enjoy some random rants from a dude clearly with no production skills, like, subscribe, share, comment, or whatever, okay? I'll be great regardless, because I just do these for funsies. Hit that bell icon. I don't know where that is, but I'm asking you guys to do it because other YouTubers say it, okay? That's just me, a casual hypocrite about a minor internet detail. Ugh, who cares? So the very first operational issue that I found that can easily be improved upon is, I don't know, when they canceled my flight, let your customers know in every type of fashion if possible, like notifications at the least, or email instead of just, I don't know, until you actually have a backup flight available, because that's when I actually got a notification, okay? Everybody knows that's the fifth best option that the airline is giving you. You're hoping most people will not care enough to change it, and that'll save you, the airline, some trouble, I guess, okay? Because that's what happened on our flight. Flight was originally at 9 a.m., canceled at 3 a.m., and somehow I didn't get an actual email about it until 7 a.m. Like, WTF. Why is there a 4 to 5 hour skip, right? Now, if I got a notification that my flight was canceled immediately, for example, via the app or some sort of email or text, I would have been able to call in to reschedule much earlier and maybe not have the gigantic wait that I ended up with, right? And possibly I might have gotten luckier and gotten an earlier flight closer to my original schedule. Now, what was so hard about that? The cancellation was literally only noted in the app and still didn't involve a notification from the app. Why not? You cannot possibly be expecting all your customers to be constantly refreshing your app, especially overnight, right? This tiny, I think, addition would have lowered my anxiety level by at least 50%. I'm usually, I think, a pretty patient dude, and I am willing to stand in the right line, but this lapse of judgment is the equivalent of not even, telling me where the line is until it's already been formed 5 hours later, okay? This is just totally unacceptable. Okay, now the second item that I think, again, can be easily fixed and yet was not available, that was when I tried to call in, at about 7 a.m., right? Call in to rebook the flight. My God, please have that service where you guys will call the customer back because the line was long. Again, during that Monday morning, I was told by the automated response time that my wait time was 8 hours long, okay? It didn't end up actually taking that long. But again, there was no callback service on the number where you can reschedule flights. So I did sit on the line for more than 3 hours at least, right? To speak to a live person. Now, you know how perilous that situation is where I am just a minor fat finger flick away from losing my place in line after I've been sitting there for multiple hours? What year is this? Freaking 2005? Please do better, okay? Now, the reality, of course, is that even that callback method has its issues, okay? I have tried to call back Alaska for follow-up reasons, after our flight was over, on one of their non-rebooking numbers, and there they do have the callback service, right? Where they will call me back whenever my place in line is up. And yet their callback somehow works so poorly that I managed to miss that twice, despite of the fact that I was staring at the phone, okay? So that leads me to believe that yet again, this airline does not actually want to make it easy for a customer to talk to a customer service agent at all. And I understand the reasoning. This whole fiasco is Alaska Airlines' problem. Suddenly they have a huge influx of complaints and rescheduling calls. And frankly, any method to thin out that crowd is welcome for the company. But unluckily for you guys, they don't know me and how patient I really am. I will complain and badger them about it until, I get what I want, no matter how long it takes. Could be days, could be weeks, could be months, could be years, doesn't matter. I got time because I am retired. Okay, now, my trip is actually totally done, obviously. We spent 13 more hours traveling than we originally intended. Well, whatever. That's not the worst thing that could have happened, right? At least we didn't have to find additional lodging. And certainly we don't have to do that. We didn't have to do that 2 more times, if we actually took Alaska's very first scheduled flight at face value. And still, this has been a couple of days later. Crickets on how Alaska is going to make us whole. Now, I have my thoughts on the extra expenses. That is clearly Alaska's fault. I get it. We might disagree on how much of that they are responsible for. But this whole rectification conversation hasn't even started. I'm not sure when it will unless I call them up. I searched for the internet and I read that I'm at least owed the difference in the fare class when situations like this occurs. And I think they're supposed to, compensate us within, I don't know, like a business week worth of days, right? So half of me kind of just want to wait a week and see whether Alaska will say anything if I say nothing, okay? But frankly, I'm still feeling a little too incensed for that, so I might not wait. Well, I may not wait for 3 hours a day just to get to talk to a person. I am willing to try every day for an hour or so until I get to talk to somebody at least, all right? So that's my plan for now. In conclusion, do I think only Alaska's this bad? I don't know. I'm a cynical. So I am cynical, so I'm going to say actually probably not. Okay, everybody's bad. I doubt any airline is significantly better. But what I can say easily is that they could have just done a few things, minor things better, but instead they chose to do nothing of the kind because I don't think they care about their customers, right? No matter what they're saying on their automated voice lines, okay? Real-time notifications, callbacks that actually work, or compensation for their screw-up without me having to ask for it, these are just common sense, okay? Instead, they've destroyed what little floor-level, basement-level goodwill a company has with their customers, okay? Honestly, this is not that big of a deal to a man of leisure like me, because I have time to follow up on what I think is fair. But why would I ever want to get burned like this again by a company that can't even bother to simply manage expectations in a timely fashion? Jesus, I hope I never meet an operations person at this company because they must be the dumbest bottom of the barrel moron that ever existed. Okay? How do you guys feel about Alaska, by the way? Please feel free to yell at me below. Until next time, cheers. A la prochaine.